Today we're talking about my failed attempt at entering a soundtrack scoring competition. Let's go. Hi guys, it's Alejandro and this is Documentary in Progress. I mentioned in my Origins video that I had some knowledge in music even before becoming interested in filmmaking. Although I'm definitely not a composer in a traditional classical way, the skills needed for scoring an action scene in a modern way are just, well, different. I'm not saying one is better than the other or one is harder than the other, they're just different. Although I will say this, any musician with a background in classical techniques for orchestration will have an inherent advantage in the way they can produce different colors or effects with an orchestra.
I'm not a mini Hans Zimmer, and I shouldn't try and be.
During his career, John Williams has barely used any non-classical instrument, and yet he's still in the top 5, even top 3 in any list of best film music composers. With that out of the way, let me tell you about the competition. There's this English company called Spitfire, and they make sample libraries, which are recordings of live instruments made in a way so that you can play them in your own computer. Why are sample libraries relevant? Well, because they reduce the cost of scoring music for film and television significantly. I'm going to talk more about sample libraries in another video soon, but for now, suffice it to say that they are at the core of modern scoring techniques. Anyway, so this company Spitfire, they partnered with a show from HBO called Westworld and made a competition that would be judged by the creators of the show, which is amazing. Just imagine the kind of exposure that you will get if your music is heard by those guys. For the competition, they provided a 4-minute clip from one of the episodes of the show, and the interesting thing about the clip is that it doesn't contain the music, it's just the dialogue and sound effects. They also provided the original with the original music that was shown in the episode, just so you could have a reference. So at this point it's probably relevant to mention that I had never watched the show before. So in a way what I was doing is what composers actually do when they have to see a show for the first time and trying to come up with a melody or a theme or rhythm or whatever it is, the kind of music, what kind of music they are going to create. This point is important because they said in the rules that it wouldn't matter if you don't match with the spirit of the current soundtrack of the series, because they wanted original music, they didn't want more of the same. So for this video I'm not going to go over all of the details that went into the scoring process, but for now, roughly speaking, this was my process. Number 1, simply watch the clip a few times, identifying the points where there should be changes in the music, big or small. Number 2, write down the times at which those changes should happen, so that I don't overshoot a specific section. Number 3, associate some keywords with the different sections to guide my musical decisions. This is because you don't really compose by thinking, well, I should use this particular note in this moment, but instead you think about the emotional effect you want to produce on the viewer. So for example, if there's conflict on the screen, there should be some tension in the music. If there's action on the screen, there should be intensity in the music, and so on. Number 4, do a first sketch of the melodic and rhythmic patterns. This is just like a painter having a sketch of what they want to do, they intend to do, without adding any details yet. Number 5, now we add details such as any musical ornaments, short phrases, even some other sound effects that will help tell the story better. So these last 2 steps eventually become rinse and repeat, where you iterate and you try to find the sweet spot where you say, okay, this is what I want, and there's nothing else that I could add or remove that would enhance the experience from my point of view as a composer. And that's when you call it a day and you say, this is done, this is my version that I'm submitting to the competition. But I didn't get to that part. I mean, I did this for a few days, a couple of days, and I went over the first minute more or less, I think a little less than 1 minute. And then I had the idea of starting this particular YouTube channel, and that consumed me completely. I dedicated almost 100% of my spare time to this, and I forgot about the music. I said I'll do it later, but in the end I didn't. Which is why now I'm sharing just the first 40 or 50 seconds of what I did. So here I am sharing with you my failed attempt at the scoring competition.
We'll approach you now.
Enable semi-automatic control. Disable safety features. Maximum speed. Go.
What's happening to him?
I think he's switching genres.
We need distance. Head south.
And that was it. Maybe I will finish it someday, but who knows. Let me know if you would like to see some more detailed breakdown of what I did, but at least today I didn't want to have too many of those musical details and go on and on about those, because so far this is not a musical channel, and also I'm not an expert. I'm still pretty much a beginner musician. That's it for today. See you all in the comments and keep documenting.